So you just got your brand spanking new Lifan KPM200, and now you want to find some mods for it. Maybe you just got it, maybe you got the Kpr 200, or even the KP Trail, if you're one of the lucky bastards who actually managed to get a hold of this bike, but you're curious about where you can actually find mods for it. Let me tell you, hands down, when I first bought this bike, the first thing I did was try and find anything for it. And the truth is, most dealerships aren't going to be able to say, oh, here's a mod site for it, here's where you can go grab parts. Most performance racing shops that you go to are just going to kind of look at you and shrug awkwardly. Very awkwardly. And if you go to like eBay or something too, you can see there's just not going to be much information. You have crash bars for an exorbitant amount of money. That's pretty much it. So you're limited. Maybe your resources may feel limited at first, unless you're looking for an ungodly amount of popcorn machines. You might feel like you're out of luck. You are most definitely not. There is a little-known gem of a website called Yoycart.com that has a metric ton of mods, and I want to list 5 of the must-have mods for this motorcycle that I suggest you get tonight at a great price. All of these should be under $100. Let's get right into it. First off is our rear shelf. They call it the tailbox armrest KPM200 modification accessories because it's now 2021 and we all speak in keywords. But this is from a site called Yoycart.com. In fact, every one of the mods that you see here are going to be from Yoycart.com. Basically, this is like the Chinese Amazon. It's one of the major shopping sites. It is coming from China, which means if you're going to get these parts, expect shipping to be pretty damn high. You're looking at like $30. But we're going to touch on why that necessarily isn't a bad thing when you compare prices from this to the imports in a second. My first thing here is the tail rack, or the little back rack that you see here. It's useful for storing luggage. The truth is this bike has almost no storage on it, which is horrible, but it does make it kind of nice because you can quickly bolt this guy on, and you do have a nice little way of, you know, storing a little tail box or maybe just bungeeing some luggage up to it. It does fit pretty well. Let me see if there's a picture. Yeah, there you go. So this is bolted onto the KPM200. It's really nice that they have these photos because you might not think that they fit. They do show fitment, and I'm pretty sure they guarantee success. You'll also notice, this is kind of cool, the blinkers are different, and that's because this is the Chinese domestic market KPM, which is why if you look at any of the photos of this guy, it does have the scrambler tires and the spoked wheels. So in the US, they're only giving us the mag wheels and the street tires, but they do exist as the, well, as the ads make them look. If you look on any of the ads, you can see they always have the spoked wheels and the scrambler tires, and of course those crazy cool turn signals, which you can actually get, and I'll show those in a second too. But yeah, first off on the list, this is really nice. This seller in particular actually has a couple options bundled with this. You do have the direct rear shelf here, but you can also get a really snazzy backrest. I'm spoiling some of the other ones here, don't look. You can see here there's a rear shelf backrest. This is one that goes directly onto the luggage rack there, which is not horrible. They also do make a standalone, no, I guess that bolts onto the rack too. So you can actually order the backrest and get both a rack and a passenger backrest, which, you know, if you have this bike or if you don't, let me tell you right now, it's not big by any standards. Me, I'm 6'3", my girlfriend's 5'2". We both fit, but I'd be honest, you know, we're about 2 steps away from looking a little too big on the bike, if you can kind of get what I mean. We do look a little funky, so having this is nice because she is totally right up on the edge of that seat there. So that's number 1. Number 2, hands down, are going to be some more bags actually, but these are some proper baggers. If you're looking for a little bit of a side bag there, you can throw some saddlebags on it and actually get some decent storage out of it. A luggage rack is wonderful, but sometimes you just want something that's easy to use, and that's this. Now, I did say that I would keep it under $100, and if you look, most of these bags are not, which is annoying, but it's not the only one, which is good. The bag itself is actually really cheap. It's $19. Most of the money that you're spending here is for the mounting hardware, which if you look, they actually all come bundled with, no, I'm spoiling stuff. They all come bundled with this really nice, high-quality armrest here. At least they're calling it an armrest. If you're putting your arms there, you're riding motorcycles wrong, but it is cool that they do have that, so you can get a really nice setup. I wish they sold this standalone. I think some sellers actually do, because the look of this just against the seat looks awesome, so I would like to get that at some point too. But just the bags are really cheap here. This is $16. Again, that's wholesale pricing. I'm going to guess, just going out on a limb here, based on the size of how that fits on the motorcycle, that's probably about a gallon of storage. And it looks like there's even a smaller one right there for cup holding, I guess, or small animals. I'm not sure, but it's cool that they do make those. So that's a really cheap way to get some storage on the bike, because again, it doesn't come with any real storage, because it really is just a modified race bike that's designed to be made comfortable. So, I mean, when you hear it like that, when you phrase it like that, it sounds absolutely gorgeous. It's awesome. But practicality-wise, you know, it's nice. I'm not a huge fan of these because I don't particularly like the way these look. Here's a super kitted-out KPM. All of these parts here, by the way, you can get straight from Yoycart. Again, there's that Chinese domestic market. They also get this really neat fender with the Lifan logo, which for some reason we don't have. I have no idea why, but it makes me really sad. But do take a look here. They do have a fairing kit for this bike, and it's been, so far, the only one I've seen that actually doesn't make me revolt in disgust. I think this actually looks really good. It totally fits that cafe racer vibe. If you didn't already have this sick carbon fiber underneath, I would consider it. And of course you do have those front fork bags too, so you can get them in a couple options. I just don't like the way this look. It kind of looks like someone took the ugly stick and just beat up the KPM until it was practical. I'm not a fan, but hey, if you want storage, they'll give you the storage. So no shame for that. Number 3 on the list here is, well, 3 and 3.5 are the actual Chinese domestic spoked wheels for these bikes. These are the stripped chrome wheels, or the spoked chrome wheels, excuse me. I do believe they fit the street tires too, if you don't want to have to replace your tires. The wheel size is the same, so the only difference is, of course, the actual spokes. Everywhere you buy the spikes, from SRK Cycles to Venom Motorsports, they're only going to ship in the US with those black mag wheels, which is fine for some, but you know, if you want to stand out and create that really, really accurate look, and I think this looks fantastic, get the spoked wheels. For 60, 70 bucks, that's a really great price for wheels. Now again, shipping, and we should talk about shipping a little bit more. You're going to be paying like 30 bucks on the low end. I've seen it as high as 50 for some really big stuff. It doesn't get much higher than that, and that's mainly just because of the economy of scale. There's a point where you get stuff that's so big that they just ship it all in the same boat, so you're not really spending much more for shipping. So even factoring all that in, that's a full set of wheels for under 200 bucks. That's really not bad. And it is Lifan OEM, so you might be able to see if there's some sort of warranty over that. I don't know if there is. Talk to your dealers individually, but you know, the fact that it's there is really nice. I do believe these come complete with all the bearings too, and you get that nice Lifan genuine parts packaging there. I have no idea what any of this says, but I imagine it probably says something like you're going to go fast and look badass. So, lastly, or not quite lastly, but getting there, number 4 is the USB charger combination original accessories, or as I like to call it, the phone dongle thing. This is really nice. This is, you know, if you want to do any sort of touring on this bike, a phone holder and a USB charger are going to go a long way. And it's funny to me because the motorcycle feels really futuristic. You've got the LCD speedo and gauge cluster here where you've got your tack all built into the same bike. Everything's LED, but you have nothing for the phones, which is, like I said, annoying. And I kind of rationalize that in my head as this thing just being like a driver's motorcycle or a racing bike. Yeah, but truth be told, it's annoying as hell. And this is really nice because for 11 bucks you can get this set up. You could probably buy one of these anywhere, but this comes from the KP Trail, which is the adventure bike, and it does come with this off the bat, which is cool because, again, like we touched on, this is all the same platform. The KP Master, maybe we haven't touched on it. Well, let me give you the quick refresher course. The KP Master shares the exact same platform with 4 different bikes in Lifan's lineup: the KPR, the KP, and the KP Trail. The KPS as well, but this is a Chinese domestic bike, so you couldn't even get that anyways. These guys right here are the exact same motorcycle with pretty much a different exterior, different plastics, and the KP Trail is really the big brother of all of these. This guy has the most accessories. That's where the crash guards come from, which I'll touch on next. That's where the Fender Eliminator comes on, which I'll also touch on next. I'm spoiling everything. But if you do want all the parts for the KPM, everything's bolt-on, including that little USB charger. And when I say everything's the same, I mean literally everything. So you can literally take that USB charger and just chuck it right on in, which is fantastic. Number 4 coming up here is the Fender Eliminator Kit. This is actually just the rear fender. It's not really a Fender Eliminator Kit. What's cool about this, though, is they make one with a license plate bracket right there. That's 801. That's just for the bracket, so you need to order that in addition to the Fender kit there. But what's really nice is if you look at the Lifan KPM, it's got this massive this massive fender, which, I mean, it just looks atrocious. So you can chop this guy right there and put your fender all the way down there, put your license plate. Gives it kind of a classier look. Now, the one catch is if you look at this, I don't see any lighting situation. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any lights there. So do keep that in mind. Depending on your state, that's most likely illegal. Is a cop going to bust you on that? Well, if it's nighttime, maybe. I don't know about the rest. But it is cool that it's there. And then lastly here, I do have some clutch handles and accessories. These are just cool to have. KP Moto Club offers them for the KPR, but not for the KPM. So if you want some for the KPM, this is an option. They claim to fit the KPM200 and the KPR, which leads me to believe KP Moto Club's clutch handles probably work on the KPM too, but I can't verify that. These guys have a warranty behind it, so it's worth a shot, right? For 33 bucks, the fact that you can get different colors is pretty cool too. And they're adjustable, which is great because the clutch on the clutch lever on the KP Master at stock, it's not bad, but well, one, it's wiggly, which is annoying, but you kind of get that anywhere. But the thing that I really don't like about it is where it engages. It engages pretty late. You got to kind of pull it a lot. And I wish that there was a little bit more flexibility and where you could set the clutch engagement to. That's where these are going to come in and do fantastic. And there's one bonus mod that I didn't mention actually here, and that would be the front bumpers here. They call them bumpers. They're crash bars. When you get this bike, well, if you're a beginner motorcyclist, period, the first biggest piece of advice everyone's going to get you is get some frame sliders because you'll drop the bike. Now, I will say, in the year I've owned this bike, I've yet to drop it. I've had some close calls, but the nice thing is it's a 330-pound bike. It's so light that it's just hard to drop. It handles like a bicycle. But if you do manage to, well, for 40 bucks, you can go ahead and get yourself a nice little pair of crash bars here. If you noticed, those are the same ones that are on the KP Trail. That's what I'm kind of talking about how all of the bike, you know, it's all standard. You can get them with these nice little red crash drops too. I think that just looks cool. On a bike like this, maybe less so, but the fact that you can get some really cool looks for them, or you can get just a black drop block, which looks a little bit more stealthy, but it's nice to have. If you're a beginner and you want that added peace of mind, you know, 50 bucks plus $30 shipping, still under $100, you've got a really nice setup. And the big thing too is on this motorcycle, the first thing that hits the ground is the tank, immediately followed by the engine. So if you want to avoid damaging the two most expensive parts of your bike, you know, for 50 bucks, maybe it's a good investment. It's a pretty nice setup either way, and you can see they offer a stupid amount of variety here. This is the non-drop block, so that's just straight out, and then the drop block there, with the theory being, you know, it's going to be the first thing to hit the ground, which is, again, cool. So those are kind of the basic mods I wanted to go over with you guys. I want to go ahead and real quick here show you a couple other bits of Yoycart right here, just to show you that they carry a lot more than just for the KPM. If you just go ahead and type up KPR200, you can see, look at everything that comes up here. I believe these might actually be the same clutch levers as the KP Moto Club, but I'm not actually sure, but you can see. They do make them. They make a tailstock rear shelf for the KP. Well, I assume for the KPR, but they're not listing it there, so do keep that in mind. The brackets look different, though, because you're mounting it onto a sport bike. Fenders, everything's there. There's your tank bracket there and a key set. I mean, really, if you need to replace stuff on this bike, this is where you can come. And the other thing, too, is if you want a perfectly fitted cover for it, this is a great place to get it, too. They're dirt cheap. Because, again, you're pretty much eclipsing wholesale pricing at this point. You're pretty much ordering straight from a factory. Very little middlemen involved importing the stuff here, so it is pretty cheap, which is awesome. But if I go ahead and show you guys one last thing, there was one more that I wanted to show you, which is that you can get pretty much anything for this motorcycle on this website. Here's just some generic information. You can see here you have filters, you've got your, actually some decent-ish looking mirrors. The stock ones are massive, so do keep that in mind. But if you're looking for motorcycle upgrades, things to kind of get it set up, the only thing you're not going to find here is the Kpr Custom Exhaust. Like I said elsewhere, I can't find it anywhere. So I'm actually thinking maybe they discontinued it. But if you go to any exhaust shop, you can pretty much just get someone. All you need to do is just tell them, hey, can you cut it after the cat and solder on a slip-on adapter? Doing that will allow you to pretty much throw anything you want onto this motorcycle. From what I've heard, as a single-cylinder bike, anything for the Ninja 250 manages to make it sound pretty decent. If you can find a decently fitting Grom pipe, that'll sound good too, or a Husqvarna pipe. The big problem is single cylinders, they don't have much to their sound. It's a thump, and then a pause, and then a thump. And it's because it's a single cylinder doing all the work. So it's not like an inline four where you get that beautiful hum. But you know, at low RPMs and kind of mid RPMs too, especially on downshifts, the bike sounds heavenly as is. So, you know, that's just my general 2 cents. But if you're looking for mods, check out Yoycart.com. I'm going to put some links in the description for you guys if you want to take a look and just have some fun with this website here. The big reason why you should take a look, though, is if you remember what I showed you at the very beginning here with eBay, and this is like take 2,000 of this video because I had a million computer glitches. So if I forgot to mention anything, I am sorry. Dislike the video. I probably deserve it. But look at this. $175 plus $50 shipping from, oh, good Lord, Ukraine. Or I could order those same crash bars for $50. No, not you. For $50. See, now I look correct. So keep that in mind. If you guys are looking for parts, check out Yoycart, especially if you don't already are in contact with a dealer. Venom Motorsports I talked to, they said they had nothing in the way of hop-ups. They didn't recommend me anywhere. They just said they had no clue. They said they have everything OEM, everything stock on the bike. But if you want hop-ups, this is the place to go to. Talk to your dealers, see if they can recommend anything. Like I said, Venom Motorsports wasn't particularly helpful. Not that they needed to be. I mean, you know, these are upgraded parts, so the fact that they didn't say much probably, actually, if anything, helps me because it keeps the warranty intact. But, you know, that's pretty much the end of that there. Just wanted to go ahead and give you guys that information. If you have any questions down below in the comments, feel free to leave them right there, and I will read them, give you a nice heart and everything. And if you liked what I had to say here, go ahead and leave me a subscribe. If you hated it, dislike that too. I just want to go ahead and share this with you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you.